How's it going, YouTube? NCG here, bringing you the winner of the poll, which is the Vendread deck profile. Now, do not worry, because there was obviously crawlers, there was go keys, there was Metaphys on there as well. I will be doing those deck profiles for you, coming up on obviously next Tuesday and next Thursday. But for now, we'll go with the most requested one, and that is Vendreads, the TCG exclusive, combining Resident Evil with Spawn. So, without further ado, let's crack through the deck. Okay, so we start off with two of the brand new card, and that is Vendread Chimera. Really good card, but its effect is quite situational, so you don't want 3 because you could clog with it. 2 is about right, some people even play it at 1. So you ritual summon this card with any Vendread ritual spell. When a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can banish 1 zombie monster from your graveyard and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. If this card is tributed or banished for a ritual summon, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. You can only use each effect once per turn. Next up, triple Vendread Slayer. Now, obviously, we've got a Vendread, which seems to be the zombies, and then we've got a Vendread, which seems to be like the good guys, the Spawn kind of character. So hopefully we'll get some more of these in the upcoming future. Obviously, this came out in Code of Dawn. It's really cool card. And then we played doubles of each of the Vendreads. You've got the Revenants, which basically gives a ritual monster, target a special summon monster your opponent controls and banish it. We got 2 of the new one. And this card, after damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can draw 1 card and then discard 1 card, so that's the effect it gives to the ritual monster. And then we've got the Vendread Hounds, and this card basically once per turn, quick effect, you target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls and banish it. So they're the effects they give to the ritual monsters when they're used for ritual summons from the field. And then they have their own main effects, which basically kind of allow you to banish cards, bring them back, and kind of recycle them a bit. Next up, we play the standard zombie engine, which is triple Uni Zombie, triple Shiranui Solitaire, and triple Mizuki. These are all quite straightforward. Obviously, your Mizuki helps you recycle your plays around, and then can obviously flood the board with monsters required for the ritual summons of your Revendread and your Vendread ritual, and then give them as many effects as possible. We'll then play a couple of one-offs, so the 1 Gozuki, the 1 Shiranui Spectral Sword, and the 1 Shiranui Spirit Master. Now, obviously, the deck is really tight. You can bump it up to 60 cards. I've tried to keep it to as close as 40 as I can, so this is a 42 card build. But if you do want to boost it up to 60, it's quite easy to be done. Like, you can add in the Brilliant Fusion engine, you add in a small Light Sworn engine, you add in Grass is Greener if you want as well. I would highly recommend it at 1. And then you kind of put in some more draw power and stuff like that. And then our final monster is Maxi, because like I've said before, it is king of hand traps at this moment in time. Now on to the spells. We play triple Revendread Origin. So this basically ritual summons both your Vendread monsters and your Revendread. And then if a Revendread Slayer you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So you might not use that effect as often because you do play stuff like... well, it actually is not that bad of an issue because you can recycle it with other cards as well, I believe. Let me just check. So Omega can help you recycle it as well to the graveyard, which can help out massively. And then we've got triple pre-prep of rights. Obviously, you're going to be searching out everything because it specifically names Vendread Ritual monster, so you can kind of go from there and search out everything you need. Triple Aloridanis, because your banishing isn't the end of the world. Because this deck can pump out Omega quite consistently, Omega can recycle it. Plus, with the Revendread or the Vendread Reunion trap card, you can recycle your Vendread monsters as well. We played double Pot of Desires. This is one of the very few decks that can actually do okay with Desires because of Omega. Omega is one of the very few cards that can shuffle back the banished cards back to the graveyard. So with Omega, if you do banish like your Mizukis and stuff like that, you can just recycle it back, and if you banish your ritual spells, you cycle them back, and it still offers a protection, so it's not that bad. And then double pre-prep of rights, double burial from a different dimension. Now obviously pre-prep is quite helpful as well because you get to recycle, you get to add back a monster from your deck, and then you get to add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. Now obviously, like I said, with that you're going to be banishing them for the protection effect, so you do need to be wary of when you banish it and how you banish it. 2 burial from a different dimension. Obviously, it brings back your banished monsters. It's purely for when you go Gozuki and you get the combo going, because then you just recycle your Gozuki and you get to do it all over again. So the play is kind of near enough endless on that. And then we play for the traps 2 Shiranui style Swallow Slash. I still think it's an incredibly strong card to be able to tribute off a zombie type monster and then pop 2 cards on the field and destroy them and then banish a Shiranui monster from your deck. It then gives you the ability to either revive Shiranuis if you send Solitaire, or you pop a card if you send Spirit Master. And then the last one is the 1 Vendread Reorigin. Now, there are options. You can put in Vendread Knight, you can put in Zombie World. You can bump this up as well if you want. The weakest link, or not the weakest link, but the first card that will stand out to me to kind of be dropped will be your Burial from a Different Dimension, or at least down to 1. I still think it's an incredibly strong card in the deck, so you do have to remember on that. The other thing as well to be cautious of is, yes, the pre-prep of rights does search what you need to do. It revives your spell cards and then adds the monsters, but you've got to remember you're also doing that with your pre-prep of rights as well. So you've got a lot of searching going on in there, which can never really hurt the consistency of the deck, but you do have to be quite wary that you've got 3 ritual spells at the moment and 5 monsters. So pre-prep isn't always going to be as effective, and neither's preparation of rights in itself. So they are something else that you could look into, maybe through testing, whether you want to drop them down ones or whether you want to play it a little bit differently. Anyway, now on to the extra deck. We'll start with our synchros. We play the 1 Vermilion Dragon Mech. This obviously helps you cycle around your tuners as well, and then can help out, well, I say your tuners, your Uni Zombie. It's not a go-to first off, but it can help you out quite a bit. Your ones that you're probably going to be going into most often than not is a Double Omega, because it's just too damn strong. To be able to go into Double Omega and then just go, you can go into 3 level 8 synchros in a turn. That's how insane this deck can be. Not to mention the ritual monsters you can drop on the board as well. So your Omega, you just go banish, rip 1 from your opponent's hand, banish, rip 1 from your opponent's hand, and they're starting with 3 cards. And then they come back to the main monster zones. And then let's not forget, if you've used your Mizuki's effect and you haven't got any Burial from Different Dimension or anything, Omega puts 1 back and the other Omega puts 1 back as well. So it's like a 2 recycler as well. So basically you wait till you can, when you get these on board, you can pitch 1 out and then bring 1 out and leave that in the extra monster zone and then cycle it around again. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it, but I just think it's incredibly powerful in this deck. Other 8s we play is the Bills of Diabolical Dragons, because decks still struggle to get rid of it. Void Ogre Dragon for those times when you have no hand, but you do have the Dark Tuners and you know your opponent's going to be relying on their spells and traps. Shiranui Sogen Saga, again, this can help banish your Shiranuis when needed and then extra flood the board, plus giving it extra attack and so on. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend to nuke the board and gain extra damage to your opponent on that one. Black Rose Dragon for the level 7 nukes. And then we've got the Archfiend Zombie Skull and your Coral Dragon. Now, obviously, you can play Crystal Wing in this deck as well if you want to, but these are just a couple of options. These you can swap around for any kind of level 6. Coral Dragon is really, really good because obviously you get the draw off it as well, and then you can bump him up into one of the level 8s as well, should you want to. And then Archfiend Zombie Skull is kind of more gimmicky than it is actual necessity, because you make this with Spectral Sword, and then Spectral Sword, obviously this means zombie monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's quite swings and roundabouts basically. Then our XYZs, we play the 1 Tornado Dragon and the 1 Minerva. Now, even without the Lightsworn engine, the Minerva mill effect can still be quite helpful for the pure effect that if it leaves the board, you'll mill in another 3. Its effect is going to mill you 3 anyway, so it's a little bit better than Dante because it's going to guarantee to mill you 6, give or take. Obviously, if you play the Lightsworn engine, you'll get more pluses from it, but even in the 60 card build, your chances of getting the pluses off of Minerva are going to be slimmer, but it's still very, very helpful in the deck. And then our Link monsters, we play the 1 Deco Talker, very straightforward on that one, the 1 Proxy Dragon, and then the brand new card, Keswick Magician. Really, really cool card, gotta love it. You basically get to bounce, when it's Link summoned, you bounce the cards that this points to. So if you put it into your extra monster zone and it's pointing to a really high monster or a troublesome monster, you just bounce it. So if this card is Link summoned, return all monsters this card points to. So it doesn't target and it doesn't destroy. So stuff like Sleeper, because it's not unaffected by all cards effect, you just go a Keswick, and get a Keswick just goes bounce and bounce. And then of course they will lose their gear and kind of go from there. And all it requires is 2 monsters with the same type. So that is really easy to do, purely because you've got all of your cards are pretty much zombies apart from Max C. and it can still be incredibly powerful and useful to kind of deal with any troublesome cards your opponent might have. I mean, the best thing is, like, look at stuff like Blue Eyes Chaos Max. You just drop that on them and they're like, okay, I'm losing my Chaos Max. I've just tried to go for Game War. So I think Akese is one of the best Link monsters to come out to date. Obviously, yes, we've got Borolo Dragon and we also have Firewall Dragon, sorry. So that is an option there. But this is a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier to make as well. Anyway, this is the Vendread profile. I hope you liked it. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment, subscribe, share. And until Tuesday, guys, see ya.